was actually proud of this one when I wrote it. This was actually for my daughter. This is her as a Native American, because I am Native American along with white, but and so she is too. So I wrote a book about like her adventure. So it's called Teddy Bear's Adventure. Teddy Bear's Adventure by Lisa White, of course. So, prologue. Fleabag had lived on the edge of the village for years, in a crooked hut tangled with vines and silence. Children were warned not to go near her, not because she was dangerous, but because she was forgotten. Her real name, Rainfeather, was spoken only by the wind now, and even that seemed reluctant to remember. She had once been part of the village, once danced in the same ceremonies, once laughed beside Golden Wolf beneath the cedar trees. They had shared stories, dreams, and quiet moments when the world felt small and safe. He had carved her a bear's paw pendant when they were just children, and she had worn it like a promise. But promises are fragile things. When Princess arrived, everything shifted. Rainfeather watched as Golden Wolf's gaze drifted as the stories grew longer for someone else. Excuse me. Princess was graceful, beloved, and marked by the gods, or so the elders said. Excuse me. Her birthmark, shaped like a crown, was seen as a sign. Rainfeather had no such mark, only fleas, they said, only smell of river rot and loneliness. She stopped attending gatherings, she stopped speaking. The villagers began calling her Fleabag, and no one corrected them, not even Golden Wolf. That silence was the deepest wound. On the day of the wedding, Fleabag stood at the edge of the forest, watching the firelight flicker against Princess's face. She saw a Golden Wolf smile, saw the way he held her hand, saw the way the village celebrated, and she felt something inside her snap, not with rage, but with sorrow. She had loved him, not just as a man, but as the last piece of a life that had once felt whole, and now, even now, that was gone. She didn't cry, she didn't speak. She simply turned and walked back into the woods, where the trees did not ask questions and the shadows did not forget. In the years that followed, she spoke only to the forest. She built altars of feathers and bone, and carved symbols in the bark, whispered to fires that never answered. She watched from afar as Golden Wolf became a father, as Princess became a mother, as a child named Teddy Bear carried a new bear, soft, clean, and full of love. The love of which Fleabag wanted but no longer could have. She placed it with revenge. Chapter 1. Once upon a time, in a village called Horsia, there was a little Native American girl named Teddy Bear. She had long brown hair. Teddy Bear was always carrying around one of her teddy bears, and that's how she had gotten her name. There was one special teddy bear that her father had given to her one day from one of her father's trips. It was her birthday, and her mother and father had put it behind their backs and handed it to her. Ever since that day, she always had and carried it around. Teddy Bear's father was one of the bravest warriors that had to go and hunt. Her father's name was Golden Wolf. He had gotten his name when he was out hunting and saw a wolf. The wolf had golden eyes and was going to attack him. Her father had gotten his bow and arrow ready, and as soon as he aimed, the wolf had leaped at him. He had killed the wolf and then brought it back to the village and told everyone the story. Teddy Bear's mother had loved hearing her father's stories of his hunts. They were always spending time together and soon had fallen in love. Teddy Bear's mother was named Princess. She had got her name because of a birthmark behind her ear that looked like a crown. Golden Wolf and Princess soon had gotten married, but on their wedding day, they had made only one person angry, and that was a woman named Fleabag. Fleabag got her name because she always had fleas and never liked to take a bath down at the river. Everyone knew when she was near, they could smell her. Fleabag had always loved Golden Wolf, but Golden Wolf didn't love her back. So Fleabag heard of the wedding and stayed away, plotting revenge on them to get rid of them. That day was when Teddy Bear was 7. "Mama, can I go play in the water?" asked Teddy Bear. Princess looked at her while shucking corn for the feast that night. You may, but not too far in the water. There's still more to be done for the feast tonight," said Princess. "Okay, Mama," Teddy Bear said. Teddy Bear walked down the normal trail to the creek. She didn't go in too far down so that she wouldn't get in trouble by her mother. She walked over to the mud and looked to see if there was anything there. She was always looking in the water by the mud because the white man had always thrown stuff in the creek, and it floated up to their part of the creek. She found something shiny in the mud. She reached down and picked up what looked like a key but had a butterfly on it. She turned it over and kept looking at it. It was a very strange key. She finally shrugged and put it in her pouch. She started looking around for more things. She then heard a noise in her village. It sounded like screaming arrows and gunshots. She ran up the trail and then to the main trail. "Mama, Papa," she screamed, looking for them. She finally got to her village and saw a huge fire. Some of her tribe were fighting off the white man tribe. Why hadn't they started attacking? Her tribe had a peace agreement with them. She couldn't see her parents anywhere. She did see a woman and man run to her. It was her aunt and uncle. They ran to her. "We must go, Teddy Bear. The others will follow soon," said her aunt. Her aunt picked her up and ran far to the secret spot the village had first made camp. Was told to keep it a secret. Fleabag was the only one that didn't know where the secret spot was because she was never allowed there. They set that up in case of attacks. Teddy Bear's aunt was named Sunshine because she always smiled as bright as the sun. Sunshine ran and ran until she was at the spot that was the secret spot. She tried to tuck Teddy Bear's head, but she and Teddy Bear still got wet. They went behind the waterfall that led to a cave. Once inside the cave, Sunshine put Teddy Bear and wiped her face the best she could. Teddy Bear looked around the cave but didn't see her mother and father. She did see other families laying on their family blankets and making fires to cook and to keep warm. Some mothers were holding their children while cooking dinner. Teddy Bear looked at the cave opening again to see if her mother and father were coming. More of her tribe came, but not her mother and father. She seen her uncle come inside. Her uncle was the chief of the tribe. "So far, this is all of our people. Tomorrow, men, we will go and find others that are missing," said her uncle, Chief Sitting Crow. Teddy Bear walked up to her uncle after he spoke to the tribe. "Uncle, can I go with you to find Mama and Papa?" she asked. Her uncle looked down at her and placed his hand on her shoulder. "Me and your aunt will talk to you after we eat about this, but the answer is yes," said Uncle. Teddy Bear smiled a little bit, but tears formed her eyes. Her uncle saw this and took her hand, and they walked to her aunt. Her uncle set her down on a blanket, pulled gently for Teddy Bear to sit next to him. Her uncle looked up at his wife and smiled a little smile. She smiled back. "It's time for her to know," said her uncle. Teddy Bear was confused because she didn't know what her uncle was talking about. After they all ate, her uncle told her the story. "Teddy Bear, before you were born, there was a woman who loved your father. Her name was Fleabag. Your father was only kind to her to try to get her to bathe, but he did not love her. Fleabag didn't understand that though. So when your father met your mother and fell in love, while Fleabag felt betrayed, she warned your father and mother that she would someday get her revenge. That night, your grandmother had a vision of this happening and that we needed a safe spot. Your grandmother had a vision of a child saving us, but it was never said who. So we all in the tribe built this cave, where Fleabag would never know where it was. After the cave was done and hidden away, your mother and father had gotten married. We had a celebration. Your grandmother had another vision before you were 1 month old, but she told me and your aunt to keep it a secret until that day came. She died the next night." Her uncle had stopped talking and looked at her to see if she understood. Teddy Bear nodded, but was still a little confused. She was also full of wonder. "When do I go?" she asked her aunt and uncle. Her uncle lay down on his blanket and said, "You must go in the morning, but first you must get some sleep." Teddy Bear heard her uncle snoring lightly and got up to help her aunt to clean the dishes. Excuse me. Sunshine was cleaning the dishes and wiped her hands on her clothes to dry them. "Yeah, I'm not sure if I can sleep," said Teddy Bear. Sunshine looked down at Teddy Bear. "Then come, I will sing a song to you," she said. Sunshine took Teddy Bear's hand and led her to the blanket. Sunshine sat down and took Teddy Bear on the blanket. Teddy Bear lay down. Once Teddy Bear was laying down, her aunt started patting her back and started singing a song that her mother always sang to her. It was in their language, and Teddy Bear was dozing off to the song, and soon she was asleep. Chapter 2. And I'm going to save the rest of the book for another day. But